Todd, on Carol, a period piece. What's the difficulties working as a director on something that's where you've got all of the other kind of things to deal with in terms of cars and backgrounds and all those kind of things on a period piece?
Oh, it's part of the excitement and the sort of obsession that one brings to hopefully anything that they do, where in a period film, you can't overlook any of those details. They all matter. They all have to be exactly right. In my mind, even if it's a contemporary film, all those details should matter, and you're making decisions about them, and people just don't maybe notice them as much because they're contemporary. But in the case of Carol, everything meant something, everything was a cost consideration, and it all contributes to a world that you're creating and conjuring, and hopefully bringing an audience into and believing.
It's a very stylish movie, as all of yours are. Everything from the department store, which I love, to looking at all of those things, to the clothing, to just everything. Talk about just working that style into the film.
It is a stylish period, but it's also a period based on the research that I was doing of early New York, early 50s New York. A city that was still really in transition out of the war years. And so there was a kind of distressed quality about New York City. And I liked that as well. It was very different from the high style, the almost oppressive style of my earlier film, Far From Heaven, which is really about, the soundstage version of America. This was really about a grittier reality, but it meant that Carol's unique glamour and elegance and style would really stand out amid the kind of tired, more distressed world that you find Therese in at the department store, for instance.
You've worked with Cate before, directed her to an Oscar nomination. Why was she the right person to play this lead character?
There's nobody I could imagine encompassing the character of Carol more thoroughly than Cate. Cate was attached to the project before I was, so when I first read the script, when I first read the novel, I was seeing Cate as Carol. So it was it was already fully emblazoned in my mind when I read it. But it was just such a great opportunity to work with Cate again, to have a little more time in the preparation process, to have rehearsal time to really talk about this setting, this time and place, who these characters are. So it was a great, tremendous privilege.
You mentioned the screenplay. It's rare that you don't write your own screenplay.
Yeah.
What was that like for you in this particular case?
Well, I loved what Phyllis had done when I first read her draft, and we worked together a bit on the script, and there were some structural changes that I brought to it that she thought were good ideas in the way that reflects this film, Brief Encounter, where we begin with the end, and that conversation between the two women is interrupted. And then you don't really understand what the nature of that conversation was until you come around full circle and we revisit that scene from the inside. But it was a good experience. And what I realized is whether someone else has written the script or whether you wrote the script, you kind of have to let the script go at a certain point as a director as you move into the production. Each stage of a film, you kind of gotta let the last stage go, or you're stuck. You're stuck in expectations and things you've imagined that you didn't really fulfill. That's just sort of the nature of the beast.
One thing I liked, beyond the dialogue, beyond what actions occur, just lots of looks and touches, and everything means something, it feels like.
Yes, absolutely. I mean, that's the experience of being a Therese, of somebody falling in love with someone else, that someone else occupies a unique power in your world, and you just don't know how they feel in return. And so you're reading every single sign and symbol as a determination of where you stand, and you don't know. And Carol comes with a lot of complexity and uncertainty, and she herself is ambivalent, the character. And so that creates tensions and anxieties when they're in each other's presence. That's just part of what it's like to fall in love. But that part just reminded me of being in that place. I love that.
Well, it's a great film.
Good
luck
with it. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Thank you.